What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me as always is little brother Jace. There we go. Bro Shot, how you doing?
Doing good. Sometimes can't figure out where the flip is, but
Yeah, I think at some point we'll figure it all out. What's up, 80s kid from the 90s? Glad to see you as always, bud.
What's going on, man?
So, a lot of stuff has happened over the last few days. It's 4th of July holiday. And as you know, there used to be a mega weekend for box office blockbusters. There we go. Get that all together. Blake, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Blake?
And this year, I don't know what's going on. Nicole Kidman told me everybody was really excited about going to the theaters. We're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
James Green, what's up?
What's going on?
So Nicole told me, hey, come out to the theaters, do your thing, and everything will be back to normal. But I still have yet to see it really come back to normal. Big tentpole weekends like the 4th of July aren't really doing much anymore. And that was highlighted by the failure of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny only making $82 million over the July 4th weekend. What's up, Chief?
Hey, good evening.
What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. I was
Good.
Now, you say how much did it make?
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny made a whopping $82 million over the 4th of July weekend. That's probably what a Will Smith movie would have made Thursday, Friday. And its budget is $295 million. Why did no one seem to care about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? I present to you, good people.
Nobody asked for it. Simple and plain. No one asked for it. There was no one out there saying, man, you know what we need? Another Indiana Jones movie. Harrison Ford, what is he, in his 80s?
I don't.
No, I think he is. I don't think it's an exaggeration.
No, we don't need it.
He's late 70s.
And I like Harrison Ford, and we've been watching Harrison Ford movies since we were children. But at this point in time, bro, we didn't need another Indiana Jones. I mean, you could have done 100 different other things.
He is indeed 80 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He is 80, right?
He is. He's a legit 80 years old.
He's 80 years old. I didn't even look it up. I just was like, yo, the dude got to be about 80 right now, doing Indiana Jones movies. Nobody asked to see it. What's to say 80-year-old Indiana Jones, bro? I mean...
Well, the funny thing is, in The Last Crusade or Young Indiana Jones, we have flashbacks of old Indy, and he doesn't look Indy looks better now than he did back then.
Yeah, well, regardless of how it looks, man, you didn't ask for it, I didn't ask for it, Jace didn't ask for it, and certainly the public didn't ask for it. And we're all, don't get me wrong, we're all fans of Harrison Ford. Big fan of his. Indiana Jones, if somebody said, man, should he do another, I'd have been like, nah. Who wants that? Who's asking for it?
Blake says Kathleen Kennedy messed up again, and she's lying about how much it will make. I find it really interesting because clearly George Lucas saw something in Kathleen Kennedy where it's like, yeah, she's ideal to succeed me in Lucasfilm and keep this thing going for the next several decades to come. But it feels like she has a low batting average where maybe she's 137, maybe 210. She's not great with these hits that seem like they should be easy to do. Hey, I want to do a new Star Wars trilogy. Okay, that sounds interesting. What are you going to do? We're going to piss all over everything that people loved about the original trilogy and those people who are now starting to come around to the prequels. Sound good? Maybe you should do something else. Nah, it's cool. It'll work. Trust me. Then kind of falling in backwards to the success of The Mandalorian, and depending on which YouTubers you believe or watch, she hadn't been too keen on more Luke Skywalker, which seems to me to be the high point of the whole Star Wars Disney Plus thing. And she's bringing in directors who are like, George Lucas is holding the whole thing back.
Okay, I don't even want to hear that line because I let you talk line up, and hearing that person who decided it's time for us to stop caring about George Lucas when it comes to Star Wars is a complete moron, and I can't even. It's like thank you for helping me not have to watch a show, because as soon as you say I don't want to actually care about the creator of the thing that I'm actually going to make on, yeah, thank you. I'll watch something else. I will watch Zack Snyder's basic like Star Wars movie that's an R-rated movie, because I think Zack Snyder would actually have made a good Star Wars movie if you allowed him to make an R-rated Star Wars movie versus a TV show that says, yeah, Star Wars just sucks, so I'm going to make a Star Wars show.
Okay. Who's this George Lucas guy? What's he about? Huh?
What does George Lucas know about Star Wars? Okay, like, get over it. Okay, now let's go back to your original questions. Okay, yeah, big time. So, I think when you buy the Star Wars license, your biggest things were you had the EU, which now are considered legends. Those are the books that kept it going. You looked into people starting to come around to the prequels, where you can actually expand on some stuff that is fertile ground, like Bad Batch, Rebels, and you can use some of those beloved characters to create the next generation. But you didn't want to do that. You wanted to, as you said, piss all over the old fans and everybody else, and then claim you have Star Wars. That's the recipe for everybody saying, oh, I'm good. And then everybody's like, wait, why is Star Wars missing on numbers? Because you're pissing all over the people, your core audience. We've always said this about every 80s IP. Stop pissing off your core audience. Your core audience is exactly why Marvel succeeds and everyone else fails. Don't piss off your core audience. They'll come, they'll bring other people. Like, it's always been the simple recipe. It's like, it's nobody in these boardrooms actually says, stop pissing off the core audience. We have guaranteed 40-year-olds and their kids that will come to this. And if it's good, they'll bring others. It's pretty dang simple.
You know what's funny, man? I got my I got a nephew. My nephew staying here this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's 10, and so the other day, his uncle was going to, or his cousin, I guess his great cousin, was going to take him to the movie theaters. I said, "What you going to see?" He said, "I'm going to see Flash." I said, "Flash?" I said, "You a DC fan?" He said, "No." He said, "I'm a Marvel fan." I said, "Oh, okay." So I said, "Why are you going to see a DC movie?" So he's like, I forgot what exactly he told me. So I said,
back to the camera.
Right. I said,
let's watch you back on camera, Chief.
I said, are you going to? I said, well, look, I got this Superman, Man of Steel, Superman thing. I said, have you seen it? He said, no. I said, well, why not? I don't really like Superman. I said, but you never saw the movie, right? And then he ran up the steps or whatever, and I'm sitting there, I was just kind of thinking, and I was like, you know what? Superman came out in 2013. He's 10. Of course he's never seen the movie. Of course DC didn't do enough to keep the younger audience involved in the movies.
He was in Batman vs Superman and Justice League, so he's had chances to see Superman on the big screen.
Yeah, but he didn't. He's missing out. So he's 3. He's blah blah blah. There's not enough continuation for him to get into the DC universe. So now, what I'm saying all this to say, DC isn't grabbing young fans, right? It's we the older guys who have been going to see these things and grew up with are keeping this thing alive here. And so, one movie every 5 years is not going to get it for 10-year-olds. And we were talking about just, this Star Wars thing, these trilogies, this, that, and the third, and you're going in and you're changing everything. And it's almost like Star Wars fans, and I mean, like, Like if you say Star Wars and then you try to say, Star Wars 2, they're quick to tell you Empire, right? They're not gonna let you say Star Wars Part 2. They're gonna that was Empire.
Yeah.
So
if they don't catch you and say episode 5.
Yeah.
Right. So for them, it is almost like you came in and started changing the Bible. And you know what I mean? Well, there was Adam and then there was Billy, and then there's just, you know what I mean? That's what they're kind of trying to do. They're trying to change it on you, and people are gonna fight that. You try to tell me there was Adam and Billy, and then Reggie, and they was all hanging in the Garden of Eden. We know that story is not true. We're not gonna go with that story from the Bible.
Did Veronica and Betty also show up?
Right. This is what I'm saying about Star Wars. These fans are religious. They study. They just like Star Trek. They have languages.
That's to say Star Trek. I'm like, I know a lot about Star Wars, but I wouldn't dare talk about some Star Trek. Like,
bro,
so what if we put you on to lead a Star Trek
movies? But they
both have languages.
Do you have a clue about the Klingon War? I'd be like, nope, sorry, my bad. Please educate me. So but I could also do, as you say, I could also do the exact same thing. I could do that about Star Wars. Like, yeah, that didn't happen. And it's like, and it was the only time I actually had. It's like, okay, I'm aligned. That's a good change. Was when George Lucas, the creator, said, "No, here's what I planned on doing. I just didn't tell him." He's like, "Oh, so that's what the Clone Wars meant. Oh, okay, that's what it is. It wasn't just a bunch of crazy clones going crazy. Okay, I got it. Like that was." We're okay. When your creator, basically, like if you had, as you say, David, who's writing the New Testament, was telling, "Hey, I have a revision." Oh, okay, we're going with that. But you having somebody, basically, how George Lucas said, "I sold it. I just wanted them to do kind of the thing. Here's the scripts. Just run this, because I'm too old to do it." And then them telling, "Yeah, we're not going to do that. You suckily, we basically stole all your IP. We're not going to basically."
They did sell. He did get a nice payday for it.
Yeah, I would say he did
whatever they want.
I mean, George is not hurting. He's just, it's kind of financially he's not hurting, but I'm sure he's like, don't anyone tag me in anything related to Star Wars because I'm going to get annoyed. And it's like, he has a 60-minute interview where he basically tells you exactly what he thinks about when he sold it to Disney. He's like, I cashed in, but woo, it does not feel great. Like,
that's his baby. That's his legacy. So, and they took it and they were like, you know what? We know you've done everything right on this thing so far, but you know what we're gonna do? Watch how we do it. And then
here's the thing, like, what about like Indiana Jones? Like, Indiana Jones has great potential for really shows, merchandise, and like, because like
I'd argue with you on that one because I feel like Indiana Jones is a really great trilogy. I don't think there's a bad one in that. When they tried to do another version with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I don't think anybody was caring or interested about it. And it was this deal of like, okay, why are we doing more Indiana Jones? And I think they could do like a TV show. But the problem is it's unlike James Bond. It's unlike Batman, where you really can't throw another character in there unless maybe
you do not throw. You can always go with, because again, there was always one real bad guy, and I don't want to get YouTube kind of messing up, but there's always one really bad guy that Indiana Jones is always fighting, and you have a young Indiana Jones is Professor Jones trying to get this thing. You can always, like, each one of these movies, just put it in the 1980s and go as a TV show. It's like National Treasure.
That's the problem. They've done too much stuff since The Last Kingdom, where they don't need another Indiana Jones, and Harrison Ford is so dialed into that role where no one will get a fair shake. See Solo.
Okay,
but nobody cares.
Okay, but you could I mean, like, you could have an Ewan McGregor, like somebody who's actually like no James. You could have a James McAvoy. Literally, it's like, hey, we have a real, like, we have, like, hey, this our actor we can go with. and go from there. Like
Chief is cracking up.
he doesn't. Chief is not buying it.
He is not buying it. The problem is this. They got all, if the internet was around back then, people would have been like, no, you can't replace Sean Connery. And Roger Moore is not our James Bond.
Yeah.
They cannot do that with Indiana Jones. It is done. They have to come up with something different. And I think the problem is they're starting to tarnish Indiana Jones with the mass audience because we don't like that Shia LaBeouf movie. And it seems like the hardcore Indiana Jones fans like Dial of Destiny, but not enough to get the mainstream audiences caring about Indiana Jones punching out those dudes in Germany anymore. So I think that's the real problem. But let's get to some of these questions because we got some interesting things I want to break down here.
All right, what you got?
80s Kids from the 90s says DC is smart by rebooting. If Marvel wasn't stubborn, maybe they could reboot. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's really interesting. Blake says Marvel doesn't need to reboot. The phases were great up until Endgame. DC never made a cohesive run. Marvel needs to course correct. And just in case you're curious, he did correct himself on the next one. And 80s Kids from the 90s says, I see your point. I'm just excited for Superman Legacy. And let's do this last point from Blake. Marvel is messing around with all this crap that no one wants to see right now. I cannot say that part, check mark, anything else more than what you're saying. X-Men and Fantastic Four is what they need to hit out of the park. And they have time to do it. If they ruin those, it's over. It's a wrap. Like, I'm with you.
They are coming out with an X-Men movie?
Yes. And Fantastic Four.
Oh, see, I only asked about one, Jeff. See how you went over there? One will be watched, one will be not. Now the X-Men, who's supposed to be in this X-Men movie? What X-Men?
Nothing.
Nobody knows.
That's part of the problem is we're getting all this news about things that I'm just going to go on a limb and say most people don't care about. So we're getting the Echo series to Disney Plus. I think it's October. Then we're getting some buzz about Agatha, Coven of Chaos. I don't know who was really clamoring for a show about the sort of scene stealer in WandaVision.
Yes, people were because she was the scene stealer. Like,
she worked as the foil. I don't know if I need to watch a show about the villain. And I know Loki exists, but I don't care about Agatha being the bad guy. I think too much of this last few phases of the MCU has been about bad guys, and they're not really great villains, and it's just kind of here they are.
It's tarnished. I mean, okay, so X-Men is the time if you want to build up hype for the next phase of Marvel. This is the time, like this actually should be the summer where if you didn't have a writer's strike, you would be announcing casting decisions for X-Men. You would be like in San Diego Comic-Con, like leaking out that the guy from, I mean, like you will be talking about, oh, so-and-so actors really up. We hear this one's going to be playing Wolverine. This one's going to be playing in Cyclops. We will start to hear those casting decisions. But
they haven't announced the cast of Fantastic Four, which is
I like Fantastic Four, but truthfully, when you got those licenses, you needed to tell like as soon as you heard Sony, we're giving you back Spider-Man. It was Tom Holland. Get over it. Like Andrew Garfield, cool, but we're going to Tom Holland. You don't need this much delay between your big pop because people know X-Men. X-Men gets people excited. Gets people like they're like, hey, we might not have loved all those X-Men movies, but we keep going to see those. And so Fantastic Four, we've seen if you put out a crappy Fantastic Four movie, we are not going to see.
Them just was Bush.
I mean, the X-Men movies, the last few were horrendous, and they continued the trend of having major X-Men villains, Magneto, Mystique, in featured roles, even though nobody was clamoring for more movies with them. And the problem is they need people to kind of forget those crappy later Fox versions of X-Men just so they could hold on to the license. And that's why they haven't been pushing that forward. And I agree with you guys where they need to be moving forward with it. But I mean, I definitely care about an MCU version of X-Men over Echo, over Hawkeye, over Agatha, Coven of Chaos, WandaVision season 2. There's not much that I would care about on this docket that they've revealed more than X-Men, more than Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is actually slated to be released at some point. X-Men doesn't even have a release date. That's why they haven't done anything. And that's another problem. They could be using Disney Plus as a forum to set up the X-Men, explain why we haven't seen them. Maybe even just call it an Xavier show where we see the origins, where he's coming up with the team. Even though First Class did that well enough, but they need to do something. Okay. And dragging their feet on those two properties. And I know you guys are like X-Men, but Fantastic Four with the right cast could be really, really good.
Have the cast. I mean, that's what you forget. Adam Driver is Mr. Fantastic.
No, there are now rumors that he's not in, and neither is Margot Robbie. Both of them are like, thanks, but no thanks. We're out, and that's the problem.
Because again, it's like if I look at the release date in my head, there's probably other properties again. Like Wolverine's gonna be a hard sell because people love Hugh Jackman a little too much. Hugh Jackman's kind of getting that. Oh, if he's not Wolverine, I don't want to see a Wolverine. It's like you got to kind of. Wolverine almost has to be that probably, I don't want to say your Marlon Brando to your Superman to hook everybody, but you do need to kind of, all right, we need to, Jeff, all right, see, Jeff, you can help me out with this. Which, if you can start X-Men. Where did you start X-Men in the movies? Like, tell us like the graphic novel, where is your inspiration X-Men? Go.
Please. Yeah, because I'm going to start with the Chris Claremont run for my inspiration, but I think it would serve them better to not lead off with Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine. Don't do it with them. I would start off with basic core original 5. Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Iceman, Angel, Beast, Havoc, Polaris. Make that my 6-7 X-Men. And Professor X. And that way it's a whole different dynamic because people are like, where's Wolverine? Where's Storm? Hold on, we're getting to him. But here's the X-Men. And maybe that's what you do as a Disney Plus show because they need to get people. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would do a Disney Plus show with the original 5-7 X-Men. Let them do a whole series and actual stuff, not them sitting around listening to anti-mutant discussions or whatever, actually using their powers, because I think that's where we're getting a lot of problems with these Disney Plus shows. It's a lot of talking and not enough action. And I would have them, but they can kind of work around that and do the Sentinels, maybe make smaller human Sentinels going after them. But I think that's what they need to do. Then when they go to the big screen, then maybe they do a cliffhanger. Oh, shoot. Cyclops comes in after this last mission. Everyone's been captured, and I was the only one that escaped. And then Professor X is like, well, I need to find some new X-Men. And then we get the movie. And the movie is where Professor X is sitting around, maybe like the first quarter. He's recruiting the X-Men that more people would recognize and know to be the X-Men. And this is why I feel like they're missing a lot of synergy between the Disney Plus shows and the movies, because it's like, where's my connection? Why do I care about these shows? Oh, so I can see the first appearance of Miss Marvel. Who cares? You're going to reintroduce her basically anyway in the movie. And I don't need to watch them. So I think what you do is set them up like that and then have Xavier go track down Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. If you want to add some more current contemporary members, Gambit and Rogue, call it a day and have them go fight, and do that thing.
Okay, got another question, because you may have no idea, because I think I know the answer to this one. Do you care about current day X-Men?
Well, the problem is, much like other franchises you guys have been talking about, there's been a little tinkering with the X-Men in the comic books to the point where I think the fan base is kind of divided. Like, these are not the X-Men. I don't know what these guys are doing, what Marvel editorial's doing, but not loving it. And I think that's been a real problem because it's too much tinkering and fixing and creating problems that didn't exist. People are bored about, oh, we're mutants, nobody likes this, but it's still relevant to society. And I just think they need to do it more contemporary. But the way they've done it in comic books is way off the map. And yeah, it's not great. And I think if I'm going to use the comic books for my movies as the examples for them, I'm not going to do that stuff. I'm going to do I'm going to start off with the originals. Just get everybody warmed up to the concept, this new one. Just like they did with Spider-Man. I mean, they didn't go like, hey, let's show Harry, Ned, Flash, everybody. It's just like, let's keep it simple. They went with Gwen first. They didn't go right away to Mary Jane. So I think you can re-educate the audience into these things in a way that makes sense. And then when you go to the movies, then you can do the classic lineup. And then it meant something because you had your Disney Plus show whetting the audience's appetite for big screen, blockbuster, X-Men action. And then when you get to them, then you just mine everything from Chris Claremont. You're good for 7 films. You can do Krakoa where, oh, shoot, it's a mutant. What are we going to do with all these extra X-Men? Sorry, we're out of here. And maybe you just have Gambit and Rogue bounce out after the first movie, and then we have the core original group of X-Men that was most famous during the 70s and 80s. Then you have them fight for like two movies, just random people. Mesmero, Magneto.
Magneto. Seriously.
Magneto. I mean, the problem is they just didn't do a right job working with Magneto. They made him a crutch. But if you just put him in like they did, like Christopher Nolan did, we'd already seen Joker. And we saw Two-Face, and we saw other characters. But he was like, I'm going to just wait, get this first one under my belt, and then I'm going to introduce Joker again. And it worked. You can do it as long as you have a good actor and you utilize the character properly. That's why Magneto and Doctor Doom can work. You just don't need to throw them in there in the first movie. So then you do the whole Dark Phoenix saga. That's another movie. And then afterwards, you can do the Mutant Massacre. There's so much with X-Men they can do with no problem. And they can have their franchise
Mutant Massacre
longer than the Avengers.
Yeah, Mutant Massacre would be a very dark movie. I mean, I almost think that would be your TV show because
you cannot do that in a TV show. That people would be like, "Oh, shoot, you do it as a movie because that way you're not stretching out the massacre parts." And like the first half is, "Oh man, these guys are crazy. They're killing all the Morlocks and they're hurting the X-Men." But then you can have them turn around, then you have your new X-Men, your new X-Factor version or whatever to wrap up the movie. And James Green's with me. Let's start with the old school X-Men first. Thank you.
Well,
and then Blake's going, maybe get Mr. Sinister in there as a big baddie. Maybe what you could do is introduce Mr. Sinister as villain for your movie right before the Mutant Massacre, where they beat him the heck down. And he's like, oh, word. And then your post-credits, he's talking to his marauders and like, this is the new plan. And he shows them the Morlock tunnel, and then Scalp Hunter loads his gun. Sabretooth is like, sss, and it is like, oh shoot, it's about to be on. We're about to lose a bunch of Morlocks.
Mr. Sinister is somebody you could actually put in, like Nathaniel Essex is somebody you could drop in after kind of, what is this, the Kang Dynasty. You can always, because he's a dude, you can always say he's always been around. So you could have him in the Loki series.
I think you're talking more about Apocalypse.
I
think you're talking more Apocalypse, not Mr. Sinister.
No, I thought. Okay, see, I get kind of confused now because they have it like Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister is almost immortal now too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought he was.
They've been doing some.
I don't know which way he's gone.
80s kid from the 90s. This took 6 movies for him to become the real Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films get so much love, and I'm like, why is Spider-Man not talking? He's supposed to be making jokes, flipping around, standing up to the bullies while under a mask because he can't do that in real life. He can't do that in high school, but he can do it as Spider-Man. He can talk trash to him and get that cathartic release out by joking and talking all this trash. He's beating down bullies who he can't do. You can't do that to Flash Thompson in high school. He can't impress Liz or Gwen and defend his buddy Harry. He's got to just sit there and take it. But to Doc Ock, Lizard, Sandman, Craven, the Hunter. What? Yeah, like my new American accent. Yeah,
you like my little tear power. Okay, but I think as I always mess around with this daggone original Spider-Man, it was like, okay, how many times has this guy had his mask off? In New York, I'm selling. Hey, Spider-Man, dude, man, I need a bank rob, dude. I got some student loans. I think, hey, Jay Jonas keeps calling, man. I'm gonna need that student loan money. Like, it's stupid. It was always laughable. Like, there's just not that many. I mean, I love to say the world isn't cynical, but you put it in a world that is based on us. So it's like, Yeah, everyone's got a picture of Spider-Man. Oh, you mean the kid who's on the Daily Bugle? Yeah, I know Spider-Man. He's a homie. Like, stop it. Like, that was always laughable. Like,
Big homie.
I just watched like the Amazing Spider-Man. I'm like, that's a better Spider-Man. It's like, it's even like when the one time he actually takes his mask off, he's like, oh shoot. You see him like ducking in the shadows, like he's like, I don't want somebody to see me. Tom Holland, I mean, it's like, but I when I've said it took six, I mean, for Tom Holland, I said when Marvel got the license, they said, hey, we're announcing our casting decision. Like, I think you want to make a splash to remind people, hey, we have something in the pipeline that you're going to want to see. And like Jeff was saying, all of these Disney releases right now, they're not bringing anybody to the yard. Everybody's like, what's next? Like, come on, you're going to give me some X-Men? No, okay. I'll sit this one out. Like, I hate to say, it seems like even Secret Invasion's like, are we going to get to something I want to see? Okay, like, catch me later. And this new one seemed like it had something that made me like, oh, okay, we are getting to what I thought, but that might not get the casual fan saying, are we going to see Aunt Tony Stark? No,
I thought you said you didn't watch this
I was watching 5 minutes of it. The first 5 minutes of it gave me like, okay, we are going where I thought. Okay,
just so
cool.
Y'all know, on another note, the cat, the Flurgan, that scratched Nick Fury's eyes, getting his own show on Disney Plus. So you'll see the Adventures of the Flurgan on Disney Plus. I don't know what he's gonna do. Apparently, he gets a hold of some catnip. It gets pretty wild. So
I want y'all to
prepare for that.
8 episodes.
He's scratching eyes. He's doing his thing. So
see how it connects to the multiverse.
Yeah, it's 4 episode joint. So yeah, prepare for that.
Yes. Well, it's hard to argue with that. All right, let's talk about another film that has struggled so mightily at the box office. You know what I'm talking about. It's The Flash, and congratulations, big. It finally hit 100 million at the box office domestically. So that's a huge accomplishment for a blockbuster movie that was allegedly, according to the head of Warner Brothers, one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
What are you ready to bring it down, James?
Oh shoot!
James Green remembers.
Yeah, he does. Oh shoot!
So, but the bad news for The Flash, even though it had a little give it good, and then it's a little bad. It's going to get pulled from 1,500 movie theaters this week because it's not doing well. They wanted to put in more profitable movies instead of this disaster. There's not enough people like your nephew, Chief, that want to go see this movie.
And I just feel bad because it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a bad movie, man. It's just in this genre, you have to have a movie going somewhere. But it wasn't a bad movie. I'll be the first to admit it, man. It wasn't a bad movie. People should have gone out and seen it.
I mean, but Chief, and you who values your dollars, once you tell them this thing doesn't matter, you're going to make that decision. Like, again, I say this. If you wait till after this decision, I hate to say it, you say Henry Cavill's your Superman, no problem, don't worry about it. Oh, Black Adam, totally, man, he's the man. He brought him back. Oh, Gal Gadot's back. Oh, yeah, it's totally on and popping. Oh, Ben Affleck's the man. And then after Flashpoint, it's like, psych.
That's true. Listen,
everybody makes money. I'm sorry. It's like you could jerk them around and say, hey, wait, have you guys been playing this all the time? Yep. And we made an extra $1 billion on it. Like Shazam goes an extra 75. Black Adam goes, because again, if it was like 2 weeks after Black Adam, you announce, hey, James Gunn's taking over, and psych, Henry Cavill's not back. People would have gone and seen Black Adam more if you didn't have that decision. Like this Flash movie probably easily. I mean, it's like, what was it? You said Dial of Destiny made 80 million. They would have easily made 80 million to probably north of 100 million if James Gunn doesn't make and Safran don't make that announcement. I think easy. And then, because everybody would have been like, wow, are they going to do a Flashpoint? It sounds like a Flashpoint, but I want to go see it. And then you actually see it. It's like, wait, did they just pull a Flashpoint? And it's like, yeah, we kind of did. We got some great actors going to be coming into the role. You son of a, I'll never go see a movie. But I got your money already, so suck it.
Well, true. And I'd like to say that I did not pay to see the movie. So let me be the first about. I went to loudmoviefiles.com and procured my my pass. But as a free movie, it was damn good. Now
you pay with your time. So
well, that's true. That's true.
Like
but
I
would not have gone seen it had I not been able to procure. But I did. The movie was damn decent. And the fact that nobody's going to see it after we've told them we're here to tell you the movie was damn decent. You know, if you can catch it on matinee, catch it on matinee.
What is the low version of a ringing endorsement? Is it like a because dang decent is like, all right, maybe I'll wait for it to come on HBO or Max.
I mean, they should have went and saw it. It like I said, it was entertaining. Yes, it won't lead to anything. You know,
another ringing endorsement from 80s Kids from the 90s. It's a free movie for me. It was okay. And Blake says, hey,
it was, you know,
30 Seconds of Fury. We'll never forget that, Chief.
I'm glad I can provide a little entertainment for our viewers, man. You know, that's what it's all about, man. Enjoying our work here.
Indeed. Well, even if we weren't getting paid, wait. We are doing it for free. All right, but listen. So we got Flash. Flash is pretty much toast. I expect the announcement for it to arrive on Max next month. But I think to your point, Jace, if they had done that, they would have squandered some goodwill for this next iteration of DC Universe films. And I'm with you. I think that probably was worth the risk because you get your money up front and people are like, oh, this is cool. But I also think if they had saved the Flash for the last thing in this slate, they would have worked out so much better.
Yeah, none of these movies count.
Yeah,
nothing that counts.
No one's
the Blue Beetle. You put those out, and then you do Flash, where it's like, okay, this is where everything fits in. Everything after Flash changes. So to release Blue Beetle, to release Aquaman, seems a little weird in the schedule. A little like, why are you doing this? This is still featuring actors you told us, or at least in the case of Aquaman 2, that you already said doesn't count. So my dollars, me going to the movie theaters is what's going to keep a sequel. Is going to keep Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. I'd rather you just scrap the whole thing, reboot, and start over with new people.
And there's
James
no
wants to know,
right?
Hey, what happened to the Aquaman 2 movie? Well, the Aquaman 2 movie is still coming. It is slated arriving in theaters. Let me pull up this date so I'm not telling you incorrectly. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is not Aquaman 2. Is set for arrival in theaters December 20th. So it is closing out the year in terms of blockbusters, certainly for Warner Brothers.
Oh my gosh. Like, seriously, like I mean, this is your kind of Christmas home. Like, people are gonna go see this movie. And I agree with if you tell me this movie matters, you got a chance of making me spend. I don't care. Even if I'm off that week, I'm not going to see this movie. Like, unless I do get the pass from last movie file, I'm not going to go see this movie. It's like Blue Beetle.
It's coming August 18th, by the way.
Like Blue Beetle, see, here's the thing, and this is what I really hate about this, is a movie like Blue Beetle, it's a giantly handicapped. But I definitely want to see this, the idea of Blue Beetle continue. And you just basically said, no, you can't, you have no chance of making enough money to make this matter. Like, it's not in us comic book folks are like, I don't pay for stuff that doesn't matter.
So this Blue Beetle isn't part of the new thing then.
Well, here's the thing. It's like James Gunn has kind of got one toe in, one toe out, or 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because that'd be kind of wild putting the toes in. He's going, yeah, Blue Beetle is part of our universe, but he said that a couple times now. It was like, hey, if Shazam does well at the box office, we'll continue the adventures. And people were like, yeah, you said there's no Henry Cavill, so thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, no
And
Gal Gadot, thanks for
yeah, Gal Gadot, we're waiting to see what's happening. That sounds like a no to me.
Yeah, it's not gonna be out there though. That's done.
Yeah. And Ben Affleck, oh, he's gone too. Wow. Okay, so the three that I really like, and we already know Cyborg's not back, so that's four. So we're left with two of the original Justice League that y'all put out on screen, and Flash. Who knows what's gonna happen? Oh, it's a box office failure. We know what's gonna happen there. You've already created your own way to write Flash out because it's like, oh, Barry went to this universe, and never to be heard or seen from again. So, excuse me. It's all a wrap. I don't know why Aquaman is bringing up the rear. They just put Flash to this December time slot where maybe more people forget about Ezra Miller's controversies and have your feel-good Blue Beetle as your summer blockbuster movie where there are no expectations. There's no, this movie needs to make X amount of dollars. It's just fun. People are into it. No announcement. It's just a fun DC character superhero movie. People probably don't even know it's a DC character anyway. And you release Aquaman, then you do Flash, then it's like, okay, this is a perfect endpoint for these films. Instead, they went rogue and said nothing matters. You know how like Marvel Studios was like everything's connected. DC was like nothing's connected, and none of this stuff matters. We do have a new Superman and Lois Lane though. Stay tuned for Superman Legacy in 2025.
Okay, just if you want to save yourself embarrassment, just write that off. Just write those movies off right now. And instead of dragging on, oh, this movie opens this, and then next week it has a 75% drop. Just stop. Like, just write them off. Stop. Just say, hey, just like we did Batgirl, it was a great movie. Would have been, would have, should have, could have, but we've decided to.
They should just put these jokers.
Because I'm still trying to figure out is how the head of Warner Brothers, the actual head, is surviving this. Because it's like these decisions were made under your watch. I don't share how shareholders not. You should be fired for these decisions. Like this, none of these decisions had to be made right now. You have cost us as shareholders ginormous amounts of money.
So it's not great. It's not good. And another reason on that X-Men thing that I feel like we haven't mentioned enough is there's still Deadpool 3 with Wolverine versus Deadpool. So they can't go and do a James Gunn and say, hey, don't worry about Deadpool 3. It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. They're still got to tie in Hugh Jackman's, that's his last hurrah again as Wolverine. So they can't jump over and say, yeah, who cares about him here because we've got our brand new Logan. He's amazing. They learned from what DC Warner Brothers did.
Okay.
Eddie says, release the two films on Max instead. And while they're at it, release Batgirl. I'm very curious to see what this movie is like because if Flash is some indicator of the greatness of DC, maybe Batgirl's just not a bad movie then. Maybe it's just okay, but an okay movie would be just fine to see on Max, especially as his Writers Guild strike continues. And it sounds like now the Screen Actors Guild is like, we're about to strike too because we want to get paid. So I think they're gonna need a lot of content and scrap movies or movies that are on just like the back burner, never to be released to the public. It's a great time to release that. I think Batgirl. I think the problem is Batgirl's better than they want it to be, and it's this thing of we can't deal with more backlash from people saying, "Hey, why don't you do another Batgirl movie? This one was really good." I figure for them, they're just like, "Nope, we're not going to release it to the public because we're not doing another Batgirl movie or TV show, so don't ask."
Yeah, because if it's like a matter of, hey, we just need some CGI money, it's like you can do. It's like that's actually something you can do with the writer's strike and an actor strike, but no content is. I mean, it's going to come. I think if this thing still continues into fall, they're going to get desperate and be like, all right, what do we do? Like, I think that's when it's going to test. I mean, it's going to test them. Say, hey, should we release this film? Like, it doesn't matter. None of our films matter anymore. So why not? I mean, just put it on Max, see if we can get some extra subscribers. Like,
Loki season 2 is coming to Disney Plus in October. And I know we've talked about a bunch of stuff nobody cares about, but I think that one is going to be interesting. Here's some more positive news for Disney and Marvel Studios. Guardians of the Galaxy passed 835 million worldwide. It's coming on digital this Friday, so if you want to experience that movie, you can see it on at home. You can see it, Chief. It's good.
I'm gonna go see it. I'm at the house.
Yeah, he's gonna see it when it comes to this house.
Just like, look, about to watch Fast 10
Fast
this weekend,
X.
or 11 or whatever one is out. It's out on digital now too.
Hey man, they were smart too. Like, you know what? Too many blockbuster movies. Let's put our thing out on demand so people can still pay the full movie price. Just watch it at home. I'm not mad at that. It's the way to go.
And give your actors residuals on that easy versus them complaining, like how Scarlett Johansson rightfully was mad that it did not get released in theaters, which no one would have gone and seen it anyway. But at least
I still think that argument was for something that was brand new that no one experienced or had any idea with. On the good news for other blockbuster franchises, sounds like there is a lot of positive buzz for the new Mission Impossible movie. And that's good news for people who love these movies. And I think that'll work out great because this is part 1 of Dead Reckoning. And Dead Reckoning Part 1 arrives in theaters July 12th. So you can book that and get ready to see more Tom Cruise stunt mayhem. And just these trailers, these commercials, I'm like, this dude is insane. And I love it. What's your excitement on that one?
I mean, after watching Maverick again, that was like, oh yeah, like 10. Like that. That's Tom Cruise knows how to put on a summer action blockbuster. That's why I was surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised now knowing the time frame because Maverick would have been great to have early summer and then follow right back into. He's like, no, I can make money 2 years back to back and clean up. Like my bank account's gonna be filled lovely.
Tom been cleaning up since what, the 80s?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Risky business.
I'm trying to think. What is Tom Cruise's lowest box office? Like Vanilla Skies? Like,
it might be. I mean, he kind of reinvented himself as this straight up action hero. He was doing a bunch of, more high drama stuff. And then he realized, why do I need to do this? I'm really good at these action movies. People like what I do. I'll just do more of these. And, he'll throw in a Tropic Thunder cameo every so often, but realize he didn't need to.
Les was hilarious, bro.
It was. All right, so just in case you wanted to break down on what else is to come for the summer blockbusters, July 14th, not much. I think everybody's steering clear of July 12th, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. July 21st, we have the Barbie movie, Oppenheimer. I know everybody's looking forward to both of those. I think Barbie's actually going to be a fun movie.
I want to see Oppenheimer, but that would, to me, seem more of an August movie.
I'm gonna catch you in Barbie, Jeff.
Oppenheimer.
No, sir. You were talking about Oppenheimer, and Jeff said he was going to go see Barbie.
Oh no, I will go see Barbie. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Let me know the day you go see that, so I can throw eggs at you as you walk in.
Feel free.
Barbie, bro. Okay.
Barbie guy.
It's a kids movie. That's content that's counter programming to Dead Reckoning.
Yes. Then there's Haunted Mansion. Talk to me. It's a comedy drama starring Rosario Dawson, and I need IMDb to actually get the cast right because it leads off with Winona Ryder and Jamie Lee Curtis, but Rosario Dawson's a star. Lakeith Stanfield's in it as well. Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson, Dan Levy, Tiffany Haddish are in it as well. So it's a Disney movie based off of like a ride attraction at Disney. So, those have done pretty well for them. August 2nd is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. That looks good. Then August 4th, we got Meg 2, The Trench, The Collective, Till Death Do Us Part. I think we're going slow at that point. We got Gran Turismo coming August 11th. August 18th, like I already mentioned, Blue Beetle. So that should run for a while because there's not much else in August. Then September 1st, The Equalizer 3. just in case you weren't convinced already that this year is the best movie or best year for action movies. We got all that stuff. And then 86 from the 90s reminds me that Dune Part 2 is also coming out. So lots of big stuff. I'm very curious. So we're now in July. What's been your favorite 3 movies? Your favorite, let me go 5. What's been your top 5 films this year? Putting out to you, Chief and Jace, and also to everybody in the chat. What's your top 5 films of 2023?
I gotta
as of this
all right. Barbie though.
Wow, I cannot believe you are still fixated on that. Yes.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Jace, you got it.
Okay. All right, so mine's easy. I can't say easy, but oh gosh, 2, whatever. Guardians 3, definite on this list. What is it? John Wick Chapter 4, definite on this list. Fast X, definite. Egregiously, I have not seen Spider-Man or Mario Brothers.
Same.
Like Creed, I just watched Creed 3. That was good too. I enjoyed that. And that's where I wrap up, because it's like Ant-Man and the Wasp was like, I can't
just can't get with King losing to a bunch of ants. Huh? Is that your deal?
Yeah, that's just really it's just the lamest. I mean, like let's in MODOK's head, hey, I didn't put any CGI into me. Like that's what that ends me on that. It's like I like seeing Jonathan Major is Kang, but you saw like the dude who beat the Avengers loses to ants. No, I'm good. No, so but that is my list. What I got so far.
All right. 86 from the 90s brings out his my top 5: Quantumania, Guardians 3, Super Mario Brothers, Transformers. I need to see that too. And number 1, Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, I'm feeling really bad about missing that one because I feel like that would be on my list. So mine, as of this moment, what have I done? I've done 45 films so far this year. So I've seen a decent amount. I'm probably going to see another 44, another 46. Actually, I'm at 45. So what I've done so far that I really liked, really enjoyed, Extraction 2. That was one of the few that you did not mention.
I was looking at the box. I was looking at the box office to remind me what movies came out versus the actual like movies. I'm like, oh, that was really good. But yeah.
So Extraction 2, Fast X, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, John Wick Chapter 4, because absolutely. And I have some that I would put on this list, but I feel like they would go on the bottom half of my top 10. So in my 5th spot for right now, these are movies that may not make it through to the end of the year. I'm putting The Last Kingdom, 7 Kings Must Die, Air. And I thought 80 for Brady was kind of cute and fun for what it was too. And then Creed 3 should last and should survive to my end of the year top 10. And then there's another movie that I want to mention I think you guys should check out. It's called The Last Deal. It was a lower budget, low rent kind of film. It didn't go out to all these theaters, but it's a really good movie for the concept and what it is, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's now streaming, so check it out, but it's good, and I really like that one. James Green has his list: Super Mario and Spider-Man. We suck, Jace. And John Wick and Transformers. And Transformers is another one I want to see. I'm waiting for. Well, I can watch Super Mario Brothers, but I think I need to wish Spider-Man and Transformers on demand so I can watch them quicker, because I want to see both of those films.
Okay, can I ask you guys who watch Transformers? Is it the best Transformers movie that you've seen on in motion picture? I mean, live action. Like that's the thing I need to know.
86 from the 90s is going to fight you. He says, I like Quantumania a lot better than Flash.
Hey, I didn't put you. Did you hear me like Ice Dancing on the top 5? I did not. like,
all right, so Blake says my top are the ones I haven't seen yet: Guardians, John Wick, Asteroid City, Extraction 2. Otherwise, I'm soured by movies in general.
Extraction 2, the good thing is you can watch that at home whenever you want. Whenever you're in the mood for a really good action movie, you can put that in and turn this around, sound out, and actually, like, and there's some visuals in that movie that are like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Like, especially if you like, easier as I say, if you like the Raid 2, and if you'll love it. And if you haven't seen the Raid 2, please go find. Do not watch it on Netflix. Watch it actually where you can actually change the language setting and go from there.
But you can do that on Netflix.
No, you can't on the Raid.
Are you kidding?
Cannot watch. You have to watch the Raid in the horrible dub. It's trash. I literally was like, no. I'm gonna actually watch this movie. I need the subtitles. Like, no. It's not working.
That's absurd. Because I can't get past like the first scene where they're in the truck, the police truck, watching that English dub. I'm like, wait, what's wrong? Oh, that's right. This dub is terrible. Yeah, but yeah, I Guardians Wick, Extraction 2. I haven't seen Asteroid City yet. I'm not sure, but yeah. Yeah, Jace, the prison scene. I do have Raid 1. You have to watch them on Blu-ray.
Yes.
Woo, but Extraction 2 really has a lot of Raid 2 energy going for it, and it is amazing. 80s Kid answer your question. Yes, Transformers has so many 86 movie vibes.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right. And that's a good. I'll take it.
I've seen maybe 7 movies this year. There were only 5 I like.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing where you have to kind of like, all right, how many movies can I see this year? Maybe 10, and these need to be good. These need to be a good 10. I can't waste them.
Sure.
James Green says, if they stick with this story, yes, but they have to keep this storyline going. That's my opinion. Or which one? The Transformers? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, because again, like, I know from the when they were talking to previews, when they said, "Oh, we're bringing Unicron," I'm like, "Say more." Like,
the answer is
Unicron, RC, and it's like, okay, I kind of see there could be some here. I don't know much about the Beast Wars and all that, but I'm intrigued. So that's going to be one. If it's not on Paramount Plus, I'll check that one out.
I need like 5 of these streaming platforms to go away so they can consolidate some of these. I'm like, I mean, watching Walking Dead, and they're like, watch the new episode on AMC Plus. I'm like, come on, who's watching AMC Plus? I don't need that. Just put it back to Netflix. Everything.
Hey, it always goes there. You just have to wait 6 months. Exactly. Yes.
Arise, O God of his prime. You got the touch. You got the power.
I mean, even all of us were kind of salty when they, what they did for the old Autobots and Decepticons. We're still like, yeah.
It's interesting that you say it in past tense.
You're like, I might have watched that in less, and I'm still salty.
And I need to just watch it a month ago. Not that I did. But yeah, the question was, did I watch it more than one time last month? But yeah, I think it was just once. I'm still going through these DIC G.I. Joe, and I'm still trying to figure out why. I'm like, why are you watching these? They're not good. I don't know. I have too much time apparently. This writer's strike is affecting us all. But yeah, Chief, you haven't done your top 5 for this year. What you got?
Oh man, I didn't see many movies this year, so
have you seen 5?
I'm gonna go with the one pretty good movie I saw yesterday with Robert De Niro and his son, and I can't think of the name with it.
My father.
He's a hairstylist, and him and his son go on a vacation with his son's girlfriends. Son's girlfriend. Here it is. About my father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That John Wick 4, Creed, and then the other 2 I'll just give to Evil Dead and the Pope's Exorcist. Renfield wasn't bad, but
Oh, okay. So I can watch that then. Okay.
How was, because I don't know what Evil Dead is, but I have the ability. I think it's on like Amazon, and I'm like,
Max too.
That's what it's on. It just came to Max. I'm like, well, maybe. So
yeah, it's it's the same old, but I mean, sometimes the same old when you're talking about a horror movie, Evil Dead, sometimes you need the same old.
Mm-hmm.
So
don't reinvent the wheel.
No, please don't. But I tell you, that Insidious thing is the scariest thing I've seen. I haven't even watched the movie, but that trailer, I'm like, I don't know if I can watch this one because if somebody's had to spend way too much time in the MRI chamber of death anyway, that scene with a little creepy thing coming into it, I'm like, nah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because then any other time I have to go into an MRI, I'm going to think about that scene. Yeah. I don't want to. So
I think the funny thing is like that's going to be one of the few movies like people are going to be like, I need at least a person away from me when I'm watching this movie. So when I actually freak out when they actually have that scene, I don't actually hit my popcorn in front of you. I'm just like, I can act like I've been cool the whole movie. But that looks like when you're like, now I want to watch that at home so I can keep my cool factor, not like, freaking out.
I think it'll be in a theater full of people freaking out.
Insidious is pretty good.
Yeah, man. They're just have to watch everybody. They're gonna have to put a little extra pillow on everybody in the front of everybody's seat, so to prevent the kick, reflex kick.
Because the last Conjuring wasn't that scary. The one before that, when they were in England, with Valtrex, Valor, the nun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the last one was with the dude in the insane asylum, which wasn't that scary. But all the Insidious has been pretty. Yeah, they're pretty consistent with
like they do a really good job of using horror and not gore to actually scare people. Like they really
that old lady.
Val is no, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like you don't have like the ripping like heads off and like super bloody. Like it's actually just scary. The little nun, like all the supernatural nun taking over.
Whenever they put an old lady in there, it's always scary. Remember the others? And the old lady was sitting there writing with the people. Stop! Don't touch my mom. She was like writing the paper. She was blind. You don't remember the others with Nicole Kidman?
No, I don't.
And then they flipped the thing back in the old. Oh, come on, bro!
Me, I'm always one who like the Stephen
King.
I'm always like creepy little girls. That's always the one that freaks me out. Like. I mean, like that would like from The Shining, like the little kids always in horror movies always freak me out because it's like, wait, nobody can touch them, so that means they're gonna be the ones doing stuff randomly trying to kill you. Like, yeah, you
want to play games, Gage? You want to play games?
See, the problem with me is I kick a little kid, so that's probably why they don't scare me. But an old lady, I'm not suspecting that. But a little kid, I'm like, yeah, he's next. He's gonna get it next.
Mischievous enough anyway.
Yeah, like Demon Knight. When they was letting little boy White read the comic book, I'd already been watching that dude. Just as he turned, I'd toss him through the window. Because I'm always expecting a little kid. The old lady throws me off. You know what I mean?
That's your trick.
So you're okay with the clowns too? No problem there. Okay.
I'm not afraid of clowns.
What about a ghost?
Old lady?
Did you watch It when you were a kid?
I did.
See, that's what freaked me. I mean, like, I don't have a fear of clowns. But man, it's like, I mean, like when we go to our little Halloween thing, it's like there's a clown. It's going to do something unexpected, and it freaks you out. You're like, freaking hell.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty cool with clowns, man. But that old decrepit woman that all of a sudden just.
Hey, Chief, they all float down here.
Yeah, they all float. And that's the thing about Pennywise that didn't scare me when I was young, because I was like, no, I'm not gonna ask for my boat back. I'm gonna look in there. I'm gonna see the dude in there, and he's gonna be like, "You want your boat?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm cool. You go ahead and keep that boat, brother."
You know the funny thing is, like you said it, I was kind of freaked out by the 80s version. If I was a little kid and saw like this version of Pennywise, oh heck no, it wouldn't get me in the circus. Like, oh hell no. Like,
pop, pop, pop. He's like, the popcorn down here, pop, pop, pop.
Nah, dude. Yeah.
I mean, that'd have been it for me. I'd be like, oh, yeah. All right, well, you enjoy, sir. I've been gone.
All right, so I have another question, and I
Yeah.
deliberately did not give this to you so you could think about it. I was reading down the Reddit rabbit hole of movies that have the best opening because I was trying to figure out how to describe something, and then I went, whoa, way down into it. So, just off the top of your head, what are some movies that have the best opening to you? And I'll tell you what some of the conversation of this thread that I was reading. But I'm just kind of curious what I don't say best movie opening, like, oh, it gets you right away and you're in for the rest of the ride. What are some of those movies?
I don't know, for whatever reason, Terminator got me. That opening when they're letting the people through the hallway and all of a sudden the dogs start barking.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that was like the opening scene of it.
I got The Dark Knight.
That was where I went into this rabbit hole.
That was mine. I'm like,
Traveling with the Joker, the buses and stuff. Okay.
The whole opening.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the one that came right away to me right this moment. I'm sure I'd change it if I asked again. Mission Impossible 3. I was so ready for that movie from the second I'm gonna kill her. And then I'm gonna kill you. And I'm gonna make you watch. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? It was such a departure from the John Woo Mission Impossible. I was like, J.J. Abrams is on it with this one, and the whole movie was so wild and crazy off of that opening sequence. And I was like, this is great. Then another one that's good, The Godfather, of course. I mean, going super old school with that opening. I mean, that's amazing. Raiders of the Lost Ark was another one that popped up. Somebody's was like, Blade entered the chat. I was like, yeah, Blade was actually pretty good opening because I was like, yes. Oh,
I'm good.
Wesley's snapping next here. Okay, I'm ready. Or slicing.
Oh, yeah, that's when they went to the club.
Yeah.
Okay. That's taking me back. What's the 98?
I mean, whatever works. 80s Kids from the 90s says the original Star Wars or Bumblebee. You know what? Bumblebee has a pretty great opening, especially if you suffered through those live action Michael Bay films where it's like, who cares about the humans? It was just Transformers, action, going for it. And they had colors, and I could recognize, hey, there's Starscream, there's Thundercracker, there's Skywarp, because they have colors. So, yeah, that was a really good one. And then, of course, Star Wars with the Star Destroyer coming through. Goodfellas says Blade. That's a really good choice, too. That one-shot take, the extraction. Well, no, I guess it wouldn't count for that one. But, yeah. Spider-Man 2 had a great opening. I'm trying to remember the Spider-Man 2 opening. I don't remember that at all. That's wild.
I haven't seen that one in a while. Wow.
Yeah. But I was like, okay, that's a fun one. So what's been your biggest movie disappointment this year? I have one, and I'm all set to talk about it. Next.
Let's see. My biggest
Goonies. Nice. One-Eyed Willie.
I'm almost want to say, I mean, I think mine is probably going to be Shazam. Because I do think, like, I like the movie, like, but by them actually saying, like, hey, this movie, it's disappointing because it had to do great to have a chance. And it was already kneecapped before it even started. I mean, it was like, watching that movie was like, you guys, marketed this movie horribly. Like, it's a family movie about,
Started on the bottom, never here.
Yeah, man, stop that. Seriously, whoever scored that idea of that commercial was like, hey, it's mostly about family, not him being superhero. But you also, when you show him as a superhero, he's not actually competent, but he's actually like in the movies. It's like, hey, I'm just trying to keep my family together. It has nothing to do with the commercial. And it's like, you guys.
Another bad Warner Brothers cut for a commercial.
Had a chance. So, yeah, that's my business. Right now, that's my big movie disappointment.
Knock at the Cabin was mine.
You didn't like that one. Oh, chief. Talk to me. Tell me why that didn't work for me.
I didn't like it. I was hyped up. I got in there excited, and I was bored.
Really? I wanted to see that. I mean, it's like the trailer of it looks really cool.
It looks really good, but it bored me to death.
Okay.
Don't watch the Sleepy Jays. That's what Chief is saying. I liked it. So you can be the determining vote. If Not the Cabin gets the approval here from the LMF group. 86 from the 90 says Flash was my biggest disappointment. Like that movie was terrible. I hated the way he ran. James Green says the opening from Monster Squad. That's my favorite movie.
Wait a minute, you talking about the early '80s drink? Which Wolfman's Got Nards? Freaking, that was a great movie, man. It's like, and Dracula was
every time that
Dracula was scary as heck in that movie. I love that thing. It's awesome.
Dude, it had a good opening scene too. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. Well, sheesh, since we just talked about the opening, let's do it right now. What movie has the best ending? Or best ending the scene sequence?
Godfather.
Matrix, the first one.
Okay. What'd you say, Jace?
Godfather. Sorry, Kay. He's just lied to you. But we're about to handle some business in here. I mean, just the look on Kay's face, like, wow, I'm so happy. Wait, did it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he really just did that.
Yeah, it's like in Superman 1, also one of my favorites. Superman 2, the real ending, whatever the heck, ABC hack, whatever that was.
Smasher.
It's like that.
Chocolate smaller.
Yeah.
All right.
Fucking with the first.
Great one.
Yeah,
the Usual Suspects, but yeah, that was a great ending.
Absolutely.
And Bruce Willis, Dead People joint.
Oh, Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Sixth Sense. That ending was good too.
Yeah, that was good. Rogue One for sure would be one of my best endings because it's just like
love the Rogue One ending, but it stopped me from watching the other movie, the Netflix, the Disney Plus show with him. Because I didn't know what happened to him. So I didn't watch.
If you spoil the ending for Chief, he's done.
You can't spoil nothing for me.
That's a good one too.
I'm trying to see at what point Endgame officially ends. So I guess I wouldn't put that on there. But in terms of action sequences, that's one of the best final fight scenes for me. So I think Rogue One has to have the best ending sequence of a Star Wars film because it really is like it's all this crazy action right up until the final scene, basically.
Okay,
I'm
sorry. I'm always gonna go with Sith on that because you have like just those consecutive endings of characters. You're like, it's just like, oh, Padme's gone, but Darth Vader's got to. It's like
she's my friend.
Stand it off. Yeah.
We still got to see that, so we can't comment on that. But
hey, that's on our list. That is going down.
Definitely on the list. It's going down for sure.
So, all right. You counted the Matrix. You counted that whole ending scene from the time when he stopped the bullets to the end, right?
I think that works in that one, where it's basically a consecutive thing, and there's a little.
The Matrix is the only movie that ended that I got up and was like, yeah.
I mean, because like if you look, you think about it, it's like you go from bullet time where then you get the Sentinels, and then you get to him, Superman flying out of there. It's like, oh, we don't know what this world has. That it's like it is infinite possibilities. It's like, wow, yes, I do want to know more, and then you know more, and then it's like, just trash.
Secretly, man, over the last few years, over the last 20 years or something. Keanu Reeves has been our ambassador of Quan, man. Yes, man. Jerry Maguire, you're my ambassador of Quan. And I'm trying to tell you, Keanu Reeves has hit that joint. The Matrix, the John Wicks.
I don't count Matrix 4, but neither should you.
Well, no, but
can you? If that was, I'm saying, I think that was last year. That was 100% my biggest movie disappointment I've had in like the last 5 years.
What is?
That movie was terrible.
Matrix 4. I don't even remember what the subtitle.
I don't count that. That was a cash grab.
It's a both time cash grab.
That's that Indiana Jones, whatever this was. That's a cash grab. It wasn't meant to be serious. You wasn't meant to watch it. Nobody asked for it. Nobody was like, "Yo, there needs to be that Matrix."
Hey, I would have asked for it because it's like I need to get the taste of Matrix 3's ending out of my mouth. Other than me turning it off when actually Neo goes, and I'm like, the end, walk away, throw the rest of the disc out. But I would have actually liked to see an ending for that story. It's like, hey, how would you bring back up Neo in Trinity and make it interesting?
Oh, she made a rainbow for them. She made a rainbow for Neo.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no recollection of that track.
She made a rainbow for them.
That's where the pause.
We're done here. Did you make it for Neo and them?
More water.
It was a beautiful rainbow.
Yep.
The kitty came back.
I'm going to agree with you on that because Toy Story 3's ending was great. And the idea of going back one more time for that, well, heck no. I'm not doing it.
You haven't seen Toy Story 4?
I think I haven't, but I'm like, but Toy Story 3 is the end. I'm sorry.
Hold on. What did you say, Chief?
I've never seen any of the Toy Stories.
Gosh, man, I don't know what to do with that.
Okay. Chief.
I know there's a cowboy guy. I know there's a flying guy.
So we're gonna stop you right here. You have Disney Plus. Seriously, like, did you like the Pixar movies at all?
Who?
Upside
Down.
Down.
The Cars.
Yeah, Incredibles.
Not so much.
Incredibles was good.
So yes, you need to watch Toy Story. I mean,
you'd be disgusting with me.
I mean,
my man be disgusting with me, bro. My man be in this joint like.
I'm judging you like you're judging me for saying
right before he goes to sleep at night. Chief.
Yeah, I may text you at 2:00. Did you watch Toy Story 1 yet? But no, I mean those three movies are right up there in terms of like the untouchable trilogies where every installment is really good and the third one ends on a perfect note. And I think it arguably is the best cap to any trilogy you can come up with. I mean, it's so well done. I like Toy Story 4. I was really like, come on, we don't need a fourth one. That movie ended perfect, wrapped up everything so well. Why? But I liked it. And it's not the same quality as Toy Story 3. I think that is one of the best movies in my list, in my top 20. But Toy Story 4 is fine. Now they're talking about doing a Toy Story 5, and that's when I'm like, why are these brakes working?
They again, you tried to do Buzz Lightyear. That didn't hit. Like, it's just, you got to kind of accept that these things, like, when there's the time for sequels and there's a time, no one's clamoring for this. See Indiana Jones 5. No one's popping for this. And I'm really
seen it. Yeah. So. All right, well, fellas, it's that magical time of the week. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? Jace, why don't you kick us off?
Something different. So my dummy of the week is the Academy Awards, because instead of actually giving Angela Bassett the award she should have won last year, they decided, hey, let's give you an honorary award for one of the best actresses of our generation. Since we've screwed her over all these times, let's just give her one. It's like, I don't think she did. Like, yes, does she deserve an Academy Award? Does Mel Brooks deserve one? But these are great creators. You don't need to give them participation trophies. They would just give you the middle finger and say, I don't need your award. My house actually says it. I don't need you. So by them trying to give Angela Bassett a participation trophy, they are my dummy of the week.
Chief, you got one?
Who brought the coke into the White House?
That's an excellent question.
Is Biden out there?
Oh God!
So yeah, whoever. Just I'm gonna leave this here.
Baby powder, Chief. It's just baby powder.
Oh yeah. I didn't inhale, right?
It's medicinal.
I didn't take it. Mm-hmm. So some places you just can't do drugs, man. You can't do drugs, man. You know what I mean? There's some places you got to say the nay no. And whoever's coke that was, you are not the brightest bulb in the room. That is for sure. And I don't know who would leave it out on the desk. I don't even understand that.
That's kind of the first thing you do when you clear up your desk. Hey, what should I put up in the drawer? Oh, right, the coat. Yes.
Like, I mean, and it had to be like a visible place. It wasn't like in a bathroom, some random office. It must have been somewhere everybody could see. Hey, what's that white powder? Like, obviously, no one's that stupid, so it must be
talcum in case somebody needs to,
They need to rock. They thought LeBron was going to do his little entrance.
They're doing his LeBron. That's what it was. My nominee is Elon Musk for whatever the heck he's deciding to do and plucking every one of those blue feathers off of Twitter. Because my gosh, this dude is like, I don't know how he became a billionaire. I mean, I'm confused. He's like, yeah, this thing doesn't work well enough. Let me break it repeatedly. There's going to be a cap on how many tweets you can see in a day unless you pay. Like, who's paying to read tweets?
If you think about it like a newspaper, hey, I would want to, but do you really want to see your rage-filled neighbor complain for 5 tweets and be like, you know what? You've now run out of your list of tweets.
Right. You're midway through. You're through 13 of the 14 of the thread. It's like, wait, what? That was my last one? Here's your payoff.
Yeah. Pass.
Yeah, he is doing the worst with Twitter. And he's made too much money. He's flying off in rocket ships. But yeah, it's the mess. So next week, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to reconvene for the first time in many a moon, and I've got a movie for you guys to talk about. Speaking of movies to talk about, I need to stop this ending because we need to talk about The Perfect Find.
I was wondering when you were going to get to
the most misleading movie title of everything I've seen this year. Gosh, this movie was an abomination of abominations and terrible movies. Chief, remember that list I told you to put Toy Story on? Put The Perfect Find on that opposite one. The Never Watch. It's so bad. It was so bad that I wanted my money back from Netflix. Like, wait, how much? What is the percentage of the subscription that went into this movie for this month? Because I want that back post haste. Gabrielle Union she's playing this character Jenna, and the screenwriter who's adapting a book. So it's not like, hey, let me try to figure this thing out. Lee Davenport's the screenwriter. She's like, I know there's a book, but it's okay. We never know what Jenna does for her profession. And so much of the important information is done in the credit scene, where if you're like most people, okay, I'm getting, especially watching a Netflix movie, let me get the popcorn ready. Let me get this stuff. Let me get my food. Let me get my drinks ready. Set up on the tray table. Oh, the movie's starting. Now I hear people talking. Let me pay attention to the movie. They're going through major plot points and explaining why her character, who's been in this long-term relationship with her college sweetheart for 10 years, is important. Come back later. And why they broke up. We don't really get a clear thing. And later on it's mentioned, yeah, she became a meme. Most movies would say, here's the meme of which she became a meme of. Nope, never get that. Never see it. No jokes there. It's allegedly a rom-com, but I think they were playing the joke on me and laughing at me like this was an episode of Black Mirror, watching me going, this doesn't make any sense. This is stupid. So much stuff didn't make sense. So she meets up with one of her old rivals in the fashion design field, and she's begging for a job because she's gone a whole year recovering emotionally. She's been taking some headspace after this breakup. So she took an entire year to get over this dude. She was in a relationship for 10 years. This is important. Okay. So she reconnects with her friend / rival / enemy. And she's like, hey, I need a job. And she's like, oh, that's ironic because you know all those times when I was dating such and such dude and you came and took him from me? And then Jenna goes, he didn't say he had a boyfriend. And I'm going, y'all said that she was in a relationship for a decade. And then later on we learned she was in a relationship with this dude that she met in college. When did she have time to run around with old girls, dudes? But again, nobody cares about things like that where if you're paying attention to the movie, nobody cares. So then she on a whim, she goes out with her buddies, and then she meets this young dude at a club, and he says 5 pick up cheesy lines, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, take me right now on this couch." It's terrible. I mean, it's like you normally watch rom com, and it's like, oh, okay, I see why they hooked up. They're gonna with alcohol, and it's been a year, bruh. Basically, for why she's feeling this dude, and this guy is as charismatic a performer as Gabrielle Union is. Key Powers is not.
Okay. I'll say this. Like,
please say it.
The joke's on us for actually watching this movie because I got hooked in. I was Netflix. Yeah, okay. But then they said 90 minutes. I'm like, okay, I can do a 90-minute rom-com. It should be easy. Just kind of follow the formula. Like, especially Netflix has been banging out the good rom-coms. So I'm like, oh, not a problem. But when you actually get it, you once again like, Gabrielle, you are a great actress. I mean, like the TV show she did, Becoming Mary Jane, great show. It's always one of those things. It's like, how does no one get you in a really good dramatic role and let you cook with this thing? This one was like, Gabrielle, you deserve so much better. Like, I mean, it's like I wanted to give her a hug after, like, I know you
deserve
that
cuddle or metal
in this, but 90 minutes to adapt a rom-com like it's probably a little more complex than this. It's like you didn't lean in on you leaned in on very much on the romantic, save a 2-cent comedy that never like, wait, does that pay off? Like, why is the girl talking to this person? No, that doesn't make sense. Like, why are his boys actually carrying the fact that they're old? Why is this dinner party only have 6 people? And why is this one dude who's older than him treated like an idiot? But yet he's actually an idiot because, oh yeah, my girl I'm trying to hook up with is actually slow dancing with another dude, and I'm still here. Like, it's odd, even odd, and I'm the random dude. It's time for me to peace out and not do anything else after that.
Yeah, the sit on the couch was like, why are you still here?
Yeah, it's like that's when you just kind of, I'm going to the bathroom, but you quietly go to the door. But it was, I think, what really got me in this movie was the end. It was like, hey, can you? I know it's not hard, and I literally watch TV shows where you just throw away a throwaway line to tell me how much time has passed. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. The next word, 6 months, 2 months, a week, 3, what? Nope. Just, hey, here's our resolution of this movie. I'm sorry, that doesn't compute. like, how is this your first time on? Because I don't want to spoil, because I think people should waste their time watching this movie. To also understand when we watch good movies, we actually understand what we're talking about. So we should have a little bit of credibility. Say, you know, they're not going to lead us astray. But this one's one.
Don't watch that movie. Don't listen to Jace. He's a liar.
No, when your wife asks you to watch this movie, go ahead and sit back and enjoy 90 minutes of pain.
They're not Method Man. Listen, that movie was an abomination. And I'm like you. My main takeaway was Gabrielle Union deserves so much better than this, and somebody needs to give her a role where she can just shine and just carry something where she is not pulling all the weight, because that's what she was doing there.
She needed a chiropractor after that movie was over.
Yeah, I mean,
everything. It's like, and it's like, it has got like Gina Torres. It's like Gina Torres actually is like kind of like probably was going like the Devil Wears Prada, like very, you know, but it's like she didn't even get enough time to not make sense because everything she said made sense. It was like in a real world, it's like, hey, don't screw around with my young 20-year-old kid, which you probably have seen pictures of on social media, even if you've been away from.
I don't know how that was. I mean, that plot point made no sense. I did not know your friend / rival has a kid, and in social media world, how would you have never seen what he looks like? That was such a ridiculous. Like,
she was not hiding. I mean, it's like any part of her life. Right. So the thought of her not having, wishing my beautiful son how most majestic birthday. Like, you know, like, come on, like, and the fact, if this is somebody you know well enough to crawl for a job, you know enough about their life to be like, hey, how's the kid you had 20 years ago? Because we've been beefing long enough. I probably have run into you in these 20 years that you've had a kid who's got a master's degree, like long enough that, hey, you know, I probably know. I met you somewhere. Like, oh, congratulations, but his cheesy lines. It was like, man, if that actually worked, man, there would be no single dudes in DC because they would all magically have women just out of their league. They'd be just the bars would just be magically empty. You'd be able to get a drink with no problem if these lines actually work. Like, but unfortunately, they don't. So please don't actually use any of these pickup lines. It will not work for you guys. So,
please do not. All right, well, thank you. I needed to get that off my chest. I know we went past our normal, but whoo, that movie's terrible. Please don't watch it. Chief, homework assignment, watch at least one of these Toy Stories don't shake it. Please watch. Come on. You can do it. All right. And that's it for us. Thank you as always. James Green, Blake Tarpley, 80s kid from the 90s. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. Thank you all there for watching and listening. This episode of Ours Movie Files has been filed.